shift gears now and talk about merge. What?
Okay.
Hey, there is a bathroom right around the corner to the left here, Josh.
I love that when you have kids who call it potty break.
So we talked about kind of the allocation of our budget a little bit ago, and so for our multi-site events, we have $20 total. $5 of that is going towards Insomnia, and 15 is going to be going towards Merge. Merge is going to be our winter junior high event, and I am really, really excited about this concept. So this is a really, really different event. It'd be different than any event that we've done, and it's based off of North Point's event called Walking Wise Weekend. How many of you guys, has anyone heard of Walking Wise Weekend? Okay. So how this works is, it's a little different in the city of Atlanta, and I will kind of explain how it'll end up working out for us. Is they have junior high students come in, and everything, the entirety of the weekend is based around small groups, right? It's based around students being in a group and with their leader. And they will come in, and there will be a session at the church, and that session is going to be, a crazy high energy camp style of session, right? We're speaker, all that good stuff. So that part's normal, right? We've seen that before, been there, done that. After
When
that,
you say church, you thinking 48th or camp? Or
Get to
I'm
that.
just-
I'll get to
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, all right.
So,
Sorry.
so after that is where it becomes different. So after that, instead of having corporate things that we do with the entirety of the group, like at camp or like at Insomnia, after that, the students would break into their small groups with their leaders, and they would go out and do whatever they wanted. So part of the budget would go toward these leaders going and hanging out with their kids wherever and whatever that might be. And then the really crazy thing with this is, after that's done, they would go stay at a host home. So in our various towns, so they would go and stay at someone's house. And that's where the majority of the prep work is going to have to be getting out in front of this and getting people to sign up to be host homes. I know, like personally for my campus, I have a lot of people who have nice homes, who are not currently serving, not really interested in serving, but would have a desire to open up their home for something like that. And so one of the big wins I see here is it allows students to be around a leader and to have what a lot of us know to be incredibly valuable time, and that's where you're sleeping bags in a basement, joking around, all that crazy stuff. And then, so that would be the evening, so at a host home. And then the next morning, logistically, we're thinking breakfast at the host home and then head back to the church for session 2. And then that would be the event. So it would be a evening, morning event. And so logistically, we were thinking this out, and I was kind of like, I was loving for initially I was like, this is going to be a multi-site event, like it's going to be awesome, like I don't know how it's going to work out logistically, but we'll figure it out, which was inaccurate. Logistically, it would be an absolute nightmare, because we're going to bring 200, 250 total, maybe even 300 kids to this event, and there we just don't have, in Quincy we're not going to be able to deal with that host home wise, and transportation becomes a nightmare with that many people and getting people from place to place. So I think we're going to do it as a hub event, and so it'll be a hub event where there will be one in Macomb, one, I don't know, in Hannibal, or wherever you guys decide to do it, and then one in Quincy. And so the idea would be for the different hubs to have this event where they're able to come together and have big sessions, big powerful sessions. And really what that session looks like is entirely up to you guys as hubs. So Macomb Hub would get with Andre, you guys would work together, I would work with Monty, and we would come up with what we want for worship, what we want for interactives during service, things of that nature. But the service is only part of the event. What I think the big win with this event comes is the after service, is the hanging out with your leader, is the staying at a host home, is the whatever you decide to do with your group. Because as you guys know, there is an infinite amount of growing cultures within our groups of kids that like this, kids that like this, kids that like this. And so instead of pigeonholing our kids to all do the same activity, which some of them might like and some of them might not like, they now get to choose what exactly it is that they want to do. So they can have an adult with them doing the same stuff that they want. If they want to go grab some pizzas and play video games in a basement, they can do that. If they want to go to a movie, they can do that. If they want to go buy a bunch of crafting things from Hobby Lobby and go do that, they can do that. Like really the possibilities are limitless. And I think what can happen from this is we don't have structured small group time, but we encourage our leaders and we maybe provide our leaders with some resources to where they can have organic conversations. So instead of having like a structured small group time, we have a resource that we give them that says, hey, sometime throughout the evening, talk to your kids about this. So when you're in line waiting for something, wherever you're getting popcorn in a movie theater, you say, hey, during the session earlier, so-and-so said this, like how did that? So your small group time becomes a lot less structured, a lot less like, oh crap, we're in a small group, like here's my generic response, and a lot more organic. And so I think this has potential to be really cool. It also has a lot of logistical things with transportation mostly. So that's kind of what we're thinking. February 22nd is the date that I think would work really well. It's a Friday, Saturday. So just time-wise, what I was kind of just thinking in my head, and this is all subject to change, session would be at like 6:37, something like that. Would last an hour and a half, whatever, and then after that, would break into small groups and go disperse and stay at the homes, and then come back the next morning session, and then leave.
So you just have one session a day, or is it like that?
Yeah, it'd be like one session at night, one session next morning. And I think branding, I don't know if we want to call it merge or call it merge weekend, but I think it's really important for all of the hubs to do this on the same day, so we're all doing it at the same time, so then, at least from a promotion standpoint, I think it would make it a little more cohesive and easier.
Are you thinking each hub, it would look similar as far as session, or leaving it up to the hub?
I think that we can come up with a theme, and we can run with that theme, and then some elements will be similar as far as like what we want to accomplish with that theme, but really the hub leaders have, and you guys, working with the hub leaders, have freedom to kind of take sessions wherever you'd like. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming there's going to be a worship component, there's going to be a speaking component, but creative elements, things of that nature. If we have something that's a good idea, we'll obviously share that, and if you want to run with it, you can, but I don't think it has to look the exact same.
There's $15 a head for this
Yes.
event, and the small group leaders, they would head out with cash or something, and how much per student, and, I mean, some of those little in the weed stuff to figure out.
Yeah,
but
so,
that's the general concept.
Yeah, and so this event is not going to be like an incredibly expensive event, which is cool because I think that's going to help us on an outreach side of things, and I think there's a big appeal to doing something like this within the junior high age group. So cost-wise, I mean, if we did, what, 20, 30?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we've noticed that we had no issue getting $20 for an overnight event, so I think that's definitely safe.
Mhm.
And then you have a lot of flexibility with that $15
Yeah,
per
so
head.
you get 35 per head to do something.
That's a crazy
Now,
amount of
a
money.
good portion of that is going to go, like I would say, you're gonna want to give, I mean, even if you give $10 a kid,
Mhm.
$15 a kid to a small group leader,
Yes.
I mean,
They
it's
go bowling and eat.
15,
As much as we can.
as much, yeah.
I think it's awesome. Like, as an event, this might be the most empowering event we've given for a small group leader, which I think, we've always empowered small group leaders, but to say, here's your students, we're giving you the money, and I think some of us do that with our small groups.
Right.
But like, at a whole event behind, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's incredible. Yeah, so as much money as we can, and entrusting them with that. say, hey, you guys get to do your thing, get to
Yeah.
eat, go get ice cream. I
Right.
think it's awesome. I have a couple questions.
Right.
I'm probably the only one. Okay, so is the goal is that you get together at your hub and then go back to your town to sleep?
I don't think we're necessarily sold on that. I think it makes the most sense if we're keeping the morning session
Yep.
at a hub location for them to
Right.
stay somewhere locally.
So it's only a Kirksville thing. I'm 2 hours away from my hub. And I really like the idea of getting in front of our campus and saying, I want homes in this community who would like to partner with us in our campus. So I'm jazzed, but I'm also sitting here saying, I don't know if we'll be able to get the best of both worlds.
Right, so like,
Then you lose 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
that's like, trying to think through it, like Kirksville is the.
I'm the only, we're the
Right,
only one.
I know, but it is like a headache to try and think about.
So I'm
because how
sitting
do you-
here saying like, and I definitely would wanna, I wouldn't wanna do it in isolation, it'd be better. It'd be better as a multi-site event, or it'd be better as a hub event. But I'm also like, what's the?
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah, I
it's-
think you'd wanna stay in the hub town, wherever the event is.
But it's not necessary, like, let me just say this too, we're not necessarily stuck in Hannibal. Like, we're in the hub, wherever
Oh,
we
no.
decide within the, well, just,
Sure,
like, my facility is what it is. But
Yeah.
your facility is a lot different, and a lot of options.
oh yeah.
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
certainly be
So like,
options
I
all the way
definitely
there,
think,
though.
there's a lot of conversations that we can have, like, as a hub to figure out, what makes the most sense for
Mhm.
where we go, and what allows, like, the small group leaders a lot of options too for what we do.
I think it's an incredible event. Like that's as good of an event that I've heard shared in this group.
Now, let me ask you guys something. Now, this is not really what I envision, but just so you know, how North Point does it is they actually do Friday, Saturday, and then it ends Sunday morning at church. I think that's probably too long. Does anyone have any like pushback on that? Is that what we should be doing?
That was my first thought, that it was too short, honestly. Like, what I like about ending on Sunday is ending with Fuse.
Right.
To have,
Mm.
from my ministry, to have 20 kids coming to Fuse.
Sure.
That spent all weekend with.
I don't know if you can get a small group leader to go all day entertaining the kids, so we'd have to have stuff.
Yeah, it'd have to be at the church.
Unless you want to like a Sunday afternoon, did 2 sessions Sunday afternoon and evening, and then
Yeah, that would.
spend the night and one Sunday morning. but that could
What
get
about a
weird.
Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday morning.
I think I'd like to roll. I mean, it's probably wise for us to start simple and go bigger.
Right.
That's what, but I think you're right. That's probably
Mhm.
a more intentional thing.
Right.
But if they're paying for this, when they get to Fuse,
Yes.
there will be kids that do not pay.
Right.
Which isn't a bad thing, because you can communicate that it paid for everything else the night before and
Right.
before.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I think, I just say, like,
Yeah.
if I'm communicating, I'm saying, hey, we're coming back to church at 10:45 on Sunday morning.
Mhm.
Encourage our students to go to Fuse. Like, I don't know if I'd say Fuse would be a part of the, I mean, it is,
I
but,
mean, you can also have something special for them at 9:30.
yeah, have breakfast or something.
Have
at
some
church.
at 9:30 to 10:30, and then have them like, all right, now it's go time
Right.
for Fuse.
I think down the road, I'm definitely like in on exploring the idea of multiple or different. I think the safest starting out, and again, I'm not trying to play overly safe. I think this event is actually pretty transformative from what we normally do.
Yeah.
But I think what's safest is if we go like overnight, feel it out, see how the church reacts. Like, that's a big thing, like 20 plus host homes, at least. Like, we're talking transportation, like nightmare, like possibly logistical nightmare. Like, we're talking a lot of different moving parts. So like, I'm not opposed. I personally lean towards, the Friday, Saturday for sure, starting out. And if maybe we turn it into a merged weekend, down the road and we go into it. But like, I think to pull off what we're trying to pull off, it could be a really good thing.
Not to go too far into the weeds, I don't know if you stated it, like when they do go to the small group time, they got the small group leader and you can go wherever, well, small group leader doesn't have enough transportation.
Right.
But me, my wife and I as host home, we have 2 vehicles, and we're going to all go together, transport them. The small group leaders will have a vehicle, so when you get host home, they do more than just wait for the kids to arrive there.
Yeah, a small group leader could be a host home.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah, it could be, so
For
that's
some,
like,
but yeah, for also
Yes.
those who aren't.
yes. And so that's where, like, when I think about what, I mean, planning services, like, that's not a huge concern of mine for this event. It's gonna be like getting out in front of the host home things, getting there.
And transportation.
And transportation,
in
yeah,
line with that.
and those situations, and make sure that, because, I mean, if I have, like, let's say, you know, Monty and I have 200 kids, I mean, if we go 8 kids home, which might be too much, I don't know if that's too much, but let's say we go 8 kids at home, that's, what's 200 divided by 8?
A lot.
40? No.
Divided by 8.
25?
That'd be 2 remainder, 25. Yep.
So that'd be 25 host homes. Which is a lot.
So if a small group leader is a host home, you can put it on their list of responsibilities to line up transportation.
Yeah,
And
there would
just
just be
let
like
them
an additional
work
vehicle
out.
probably.
But myself, I'd want to know how much transport, I want it on my spreadsheet that it's been taken care of.
Right,
So if I do recruit a small group leader and it just shows one driver, I know I need to follow up if they haven't called me and say, hey, who's your other drivers? But
What's the win in the Saturday or the Sunday? I guess what you said, but is it just the other session we would do?
I think it's, what can you pull off, you know, because service is going on. It's like, we're talking high energy worship, if we're talking like different stuff like that, just what can you pull off at a campus level? Or do we all go back, like, do we go back to individual campuses, which is probably what you're thinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking back to your individual campus
That
on
and,
Sunday morning for
that,
Fuse.
if I'm from the church perspective, like, if there's a student who came, the parent's gonna come pick him up at church, hey, it'd be a great opportunity for you to come and just check out what we do as a campus. It was certainly, I mean, on mine makes some sense, but I also see the value in that too.
If you think about it time-wise, you're getting them Friday and Saturday, and then also if they're coming back Sunday morning, so that's 3 days, and they're only paying for 2.
Yeah. I'm also with Jason too. I like the idea of like, all these students are coming to Fuse, they all they have an experience, this is what we do.
Back in individual or back or
Yes,
in your hub?
like, so I'm just sitting here, I'm telling you, like, I think it's great. If we all came to Hannibal, I actually think that if we were at Hannibal, depending on what time the session was on Saturday, and like the rest of the day was like a small group day, like, I'd go back to Kirksville. I'd come to Hannibal, do a big kid caboodle, do something maybe in Hannibal, come back to be at the host home, hang out for the evening, and go to the church and like, I would be all about that. Or whatever, we could talk about, but I'm just saying like that would make sense to me. Definitely wouldn't make sense to me to go to Hannibal, go wherever I am. I mean, there's so much value in partnering with our campus in some way. I don't wanna miss that.
I think I'm the only one, but Sunday wouldn't work well for me. We
Right.
just do Fuse on Thursday,
Mm.
so it would just be a different purpose.
Mhm.
You know, we'd sit together, try to sit together at 10:45 or something.
Yeah, I think too, like, are these people that you're like asking to like host, like, are they also serving in your church? Like, are they also like required first service? Like, are we going to first service together? Like, I think there's a lot of factors, and if something goes wrong, and you have to deal with it on a Sunday morning like that, that is what I envision being part of
Mhm.
my feeling too. That's why, I lean towards Friday, Saturday, but I understand like partnering with your church, like if your
Oh,
church
man.
can do it, like, in my opinion, merge weekend, like, we're doing it like corporately, this is stuff you can do whenever,
Yeah.
technically.
Maybe we do the Friday night and Saturday morning and then really promote Fuse on Sunday and do something special in Fuse that Sunday that we also promote.
Mhm.
I think if it's me, and I love the idea, but we're gonna go back to church Saturday night and do our lock-in then, and just continue it
Mm-hmm.
going.
Good idea.
That's cool.
2 nights of no sleep for the kids, so be right,
Hey,
ready for
they will remember it though.
it. They will. That'd be good. That's a good idea.
And we change fuse up probably, I mean, thinking about that, yeah, we would do something a little bit different in fuse, I think, because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So, so it's $20. Are you guys comfortable with that price?
So the extra 20 that we're charging goes for printed material. There's no speakers, there's no transportation, there's no,
Evening meal, like, are we feeding them at the event?
I mean, if it starts at 7, I would think no.
no, right.
So I mean, I think it just varies, like, anytime you have the flexibility of having a little extra money to be able to give to either the small groups or to do something big corporately, I think it's something, so. I think whatever way the campus or the hub decides, like if you wanna go inflatable, if you wanna go this, if you wanna go that, create energy, create.
Yeah, inflatables, things to do. And then the other thing I was thinking of is the one drawback that we have, not one drawback, but one of the big drawbacks that I see is, so high energy session, out having fun with your small group, stay up probably too late, wake up, eat breakfast, and then come back for a session. That session has to have some kind of, it has to be enough to keep them awake and keep them engaged, otherwise you're going to struggle big time. So that, some kind of some allocation of money and resources will have to go towards making that morning session special in some way.
I even wonder about some of the money going for Fuse that following Sunday morning.
Right.
If we wanted to
Right,
allocate $5 a head.
right. Are there any questions about the event? Any other thoughts? Obviously, one of the cool things is this gives you guys freedom to work with the hubs and determine who's gonna be speaking, determine what the worship team's gonna look like, determine what songs you guys want, things of that nature, which is pretty cool.
So do we determine a theme, or do you have a theme picked that everybody rolls out? And then after that, it really becomes the hubs that need to get together and start planning their own things.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way it's done.
We're back together face to face in 2 weeks because that's campus pastors meeting.
Okay,
I think, there's typically we have elders meeting here, but there's an ordination that's bouncing it down. I don't know if the CP meeting is, but on the schedule there for the November 4, whatever it is. So we should be back together. We can get themes, spend some time in hubs talking about it, probably that day as well.
right.
And then Josh will have more information for us, so that's what we'll do from 9 to noon. Work on those.
So are we cool with Friday, Saturday for this first go-around? And if we want to, I mean, is there, like, guys, I love the idea of doing like something, crazy session on Saturday night, fun all Saturday night, and then coming to Fuse on Sunday. Like, I do enjoy that concept. I like that a lot.
Would they go to the hub Fuse or to their own Fuse?
I mean,
Their own.
their own, and then, like, Monty is the one who doesn't, he's the only one who doesn't do Fuse at 10:45, so they could, I mean, maybe you could figure out something special that week where, we find a way to make that happen, or,
I mean, it just wanted with our space, everything, every building is
it's
used.
being used, okay.
But, what Jordan pointed out, the concern with, like, I'm thinking who would be a host home? It would be people who have to be there at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, getting stuff ready for service. I wanna have people that could not be there that would host, or else I wouldn't trust them. So,
That's a good point, yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does anyone have any like, is there a way to get around that? You guys still think we could do Saturday, Sunday with that being in a thing, or is that a deal breaker? Because you're right, the people who we'd be using for host homes would be people that would most likely be there getting church ready on Sundays.
I don't think it'd be a deal breaker for us, but I'm just.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a deal breaker.
So that's really only one session then, right? And then views.
Yeah, I'd rather have more sessions.
You could make a strong argument, you know, looking at the other side, that the second session's gonna be way less valuable than the first. The first is gonna be where you get all your energy and all that. The second one, because of the reasons we talked about,
Mhm.
staying up all night and all that, like, if it's views or if it's, does it make that big of a difference? Like, showing the other side of the coin, like, maybe it is better done on a Saturday and a Sunday.
Well, here's the deal. I think about men's conference. The worst part of men's conference, and there's no offense to men's conference, is the first session. Like, it's just rough.
Right.
And if. and-
Morning or night?
The morning.
Yeah.
Oh, first session in the
Okay,
morning,
okay.
yeah.
Ah, right,
And my
right,
assumption
right.
is that these students will not be going to bed at 11 o'clock. Nor should they, like, it should be a,
Fine.
so, is there a thing where we don't, I know we said Friday evening, but what about Saturday at 1?
Right.
I don't know, something like that, or, I don't know.
Let me pitch one more thing to you. Me and Peach talked a little bit about this, like, we know, like, that morning one can be an issue, like, so we talked about, like, doing breakfast, then doing some activity that got kids moving, like, for a while. Like, whether that's like them doing something in the morning, just like they did at night, and then going into, that way you're not dead. Like, you can also do that, to take away a little bit of that negative effect as well.
Sure.
So, I mean, it just really depends on how you structure the day. Like, there's no set time that session has to be, if you think about it.
Yeah.
If it's on Sunday, there is. It's gotta be at 10:45. Again, not a bad thing, I'm just,
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna row down the river whichever way it goes. I'm totally cool with anything.
Well, it's in your heads. Like I said, we'll be getting back together in a couple of weeks, and you might have
We
some.
have the media team, sorry, Sonny, we have the media team, I already put in a request, so in theory, they should be working on
Cool.
what we want.
What's it called?
Merge.
No, no.
You need some sugar?
I mean, something.
So, I just would really like to, probably today, we just need to know if this is Friday, Saturday, or,
Right.
or Friday, yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, so keep covering on that.
Well, I'd like, being the only representative of my hub, I think Andre would be of good value on like, for our hub, like in that aspect. So not to like push it off, but I just thinking, what would Andre say? His thoughts?
Well,
like, I pitched the idea to Andre, like, and talked to him briefly about it, just would you be willing to host? I didn't ask him specifically Saturday and Sunday, so I don't have, but, like, he's as excited about the event. I think he looked at the dates, you know, for Macomb, where they were available for that Friday, but again, like I said, I don't know about Sunday.
I know it'd be a lot easier for me to ask of a Friday, Saturday than it's gonna be Saturday, Sunday. That's just gonna be a lot easier to, I get the Sunday thing. But I don't know how to do that with our people.
how many homes would you need? I mean, surely you could find, what, 3 homes, 4 homes? People not serving.
I just like that,
Maybe I'm
like,
assuming something.
with merge weekend, like, there's not, like,
Questionable homes.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like, I don't feel like there's like this, like,
Yeah.
church agenda, like the same way. But maybe there kind of is with session, but like I kind of like that there's not.
Yeah. And I kinda like my campus to be involved. And I think that in the end, that's the thing that hey, listen, like I said, the event's incredible. And in the end, I'm just trying to think of the biggest win for us in totality. So like, actually going to Fuse isn't the biggest win for the event. It's my campus is involved. Like if we're able to come back and I think I could find 4 or 5 homes or however many I need to, of people that aren't serving on a Sunday. I don't think it'd be an issue. That's the biggest thing. Like, I want them to be able to do that in Kirksville, that part of it, or around Kirksville. Because I think that it's just, because then they can get up, and do their thing. I don't know, it's just easy. I don't have to drive them back. I'm gonna do that in the evening. But once again, if we said, hey, like we're gonna do it, it'll be around Hannibal or in that area, and we'll figure it out. Like, I think it'd be great. It's gonna be a great event, no matter which
It's
days we
Pike
choose.
County and Hannibal and you guys in a hub. And you are assuming or thinking that you'd meet in Hannibal, is that?
Well,
would you meet in
we haven't
Kirksville?
talked about it.
Is there a possibility that it's in Kirksville, or what do you, is that?
There's, there's a possibility that their space would be better suited than ours,
Yeah.
potentially. But you also gotta think through attractional stuff too, like for small
Yeah.
groups. So I don't know what
They
Kirksville
could
has
go
to
to-
offer.
yeah.
Like, we could legit go to Scotty's,
Right.
you know,
Mm.
so I don't know.
We can go to the Iowa board.
I don't know all the things you guys got.
No,
I'm sure you guys got
there's what's that?
That's so sweet.
No, hey, whatever days we choose is gonna be an awesome event. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
It's just my perspective, it's solely mine, so, and I'm gonna be happy as a lark, whatever we choose.
I think that weekend of
Mark.
February.
It's a bird.
15, 20 seconds.
It's the weekend after President's Day. It's like a month after.
After President.
Well, it's 15, 16.
I said 22nd.
Did.
Did I say 22nd, 23rd?
You did.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I meant. Both those weekends are
Either.
either or. Okay, if we have a face-to-face in 2 weeks, we want Andre's input as a hub guy. I'm cool with waiting until then,
Okay.
if you guys aren't.
So Josh will be back in 2 weeks, we'll work on Encounter. We'll work on, come back to this and have a good start on everything. We'll divvy up, we'll identify responsibilities, maybe start divvying out.
But I would like to, just so you guys know, like, I would like to be able to, December 1st, start making the ask. And
Yep.
kind of be able to pitch the event
Oh, yeah.
to our campus and start making the ask for, hey, this is what we're gonna need, so they can start signing up like June.
Yeah,
That's the same amount of time for Encounter, about 3 months. I think that's good.
yeah.
And it'll be a month after we started out, which would be good too.
I mean, next week we'll know the, or 2 weeks, we'll know the date, we'll have the theme,
Yep.
should be no problem.
When are we gonna start working on camp?
And I don't know. This is not the whole camp crew, that's,
We have an eval meeting Monday.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask about that too. I put that on, like, is that something we're supposed to be at? I tried to call.
if you can. I told him I was gonna put some of you guys out 3 Mondays in a row doing face-to-face.
That seems like a pretty important meeting.
Yeah,
And
so,
I think that's more of an eval.
mhm.
Of an eye forward, what's coming up.
Dude, my guess he'll be more involved than just talking about what we did last
Yeah,
year.
probably.
Okay.
It'll morph into other things.
Where is that? Is that a multi-site?
Yeah, I imagine.
I'll be there.
I don't know if he made it where you could Skype in, which if you do that, then it kind of loses, because people go, I'll just Skype in. So it's either be there or not be there. You want to email some information, is that where he left it? Because I didn't get the. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Did Did Chris send something out to everybody?
I didn't get it.
I didn't get a thing.
I didn't get that either.
I know you guys would, because you guys are children's meeting.
I thought,
Is that for jump in, or is that for camp? Like
Camp.
summer camp?
The eval?
Yeah.
eval for camp, there's a meeting next Monday
Yeah.
at multi-site. That's a camp
I
eval.
only knew about it because Lindsay mentioned it to me, that's why I was going with her. I'm like,
I just thought it was a joke.
I heard it in passing, and I was like, oh. I'm not sure how I actually heard about it. It wasn't a direct thing.
Isn't jump in this weekend?
Yeah, jump ins this weekend.
That's the only reason I thought it was like a jump in.
How many of you guys are going to jump in?
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Bless your Mitch.
indeed.
Okay, does anybody have anything else to bring forthwith before we dismiss this?
I want to know how developed's going for you guys real quick. How's that? You guys enjoying that?
Oh, heck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been quite a learning experience. My time with Jordan was pretty good. He did a phenomenal job at investing in me and teaching me. And I learned a lot with him, and I already learned a bunch of stuff with TJ. We've been going over a lot of tech stuff, which I have zero knowledge on. So I've gotten to learn a little bit already just in the past week. So I'm growing a lot. I went through a little phase a couple weeks ago where I was like, God, what's going on? Like, I don't feel like I'm growing. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And then talked to my parents about it, and they were just like, this is where you were, look at where you are now. It just kind of gave me like a thing that I could see my growth. And since then, I've just kind of been plowing through. So good for me. Pretty awesome.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, I've been in Quincy, I love it there. It's different having a job that like, it doesn't feel like a job, so it's nice. I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it, actually like learning how to deal with like students, cause like I've always like had like my idea in my heart, like an idea in my heart on like student ministry and like youth ministry and all that, but like actually being in it is so different, and I really love it, and I'm learning a lot with just speaking. Like it's different like speaking, and I've always been like one of those people that like I'm to speak in front of people, like what's it called? Public speaking, yes. Not very good at it right now. But like doing it in front of kids is like different, because you have to like keep their attention, you know, that type of stuff. So learning that, and then also just a lot of the tech stuff is like just learning how services run, like I said earlier. It's interesting, I like it.
Thanks for sharing.
Good.
Corey's like, I've been doing.
What day is it?
Yeah.
It's like a pastor's class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it nothing new?
It's actually easier on this side.
I will say from earlier, the one thing, and I had mentioned this to TJ a couple weeks ago, the one thing that I feel like that with being on staff, it's just I don't get to hang out with my girls as much in Fuse anymore, but it's still okay. Like I like seeing like helping with service and stuff like that, so.
Thanks for sharing.
Here's a question for you guys. Have you guys gotten any pushback on the shirts? Or has it been pretty well received?
What shirt?
The difference maker shirts?
Different fusions?
Yeah, it's been good.
Very little. There's been some, but very little.
It'd be very low.
Cool.
Not too
People actually have to.
I'm having some people complain about the sizing and stuff and the girl shirts and.
Oh, that's a disaster.
Yeah, that's,
Nature.
yeah, that's,
Well, that's,
that didn't get brought up, but they like the idea of having a shirt.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, conceptually, they like the idea of the shirts, like, as it actually plays out, like, I think we have, like, it's just, I've had some uncomfortable things where I've had some, like, ladies who serve in my ministry come up to me and say, like, hey, like, I really wanna wear this shirt, but you're gonna have to give me a bigger size, and I can tell they're embarrassed, and it's like, it sucks that we've made them, that we put them in that situation, you know, but.
Yeah, that sizing's like basically too smaller than it actually is.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still pretty snug, like, I don't know,
Rachel Drish is in a large.
The fit's different, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
girl shirt or male?
Girl.
Wasn't Kate in a large?
I
I had a
don't know.
small women's shirt in ours, and I only got my 5-year-old daughter, or 6-year-old daughter to even wear it. I think it might have been too small for her.
I don't know if
My
my
kids
cat
was
would.
tiny to
Whoa.
wear it.
Yeah, so my oldest son does not fit in the small women's shirt.
Yep.
Like, it's like, because the sleeves are shorter anyway,
Mhm.
but it's like the sleeves like in his armpit, like that's what it is right here.
It's a fitted shirt too.
But yeah, that, I think we're all certainly having to figure that thing out. But the shirts, I think the futures is nice.
Yeah.
The shirts are nice, the red, well,
That
soft.
was nice. I hear a lot of good things about, they all like the fabric, but man,
Like you said, I guess it does it multi-type.
And so you guys, like, because I think the play that we're supposed to run is that if they don't have them on, we have to give them one.
Yeah.
So,
At the very least, have a conversation, you know, with them.
Right.
Yeah, ideally. Haven't run into that yet.
okay.
For people I oversee, like there's like, we have 8 people in Fuse, and they're all, you know, like they're all about it, they all,
Right.
our whole crew loves it.
Cool.
So it's no big deal there. Some other people on our campus would rather not do it. And actually, you know, yeah, but we'll see. I will speak for Fuse, not for everyone else.
Did the other shirts come in yet?
I think they did.
Which ones? The Fuse?
The second
They're
one.
in. They're in, yeah. I'm not-
Are they at multi-site or are they back at our campuses?
Probably be multi-site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, just curious. Has anybody played the playlist, man?
Yes, it has.
They played this song, I'm coming home by Ozzy earlier. I was in here just listening to
Hey, a
it.
little Bon Jovi, man.
Some BB going,
I haven't heard it.
some Journey going,
Kansas was going earlier.
Kansas, Dustin going
Yeah.
in.
Think so.
Had some BB King playing earlier. I'm a jazz guy, so that kind of worked for me.
Me?
You want to?
Love to.
Do it.
Father, you're good,
Mm-hmm.
and you deserve it all. And in spite of every one of our deficiencies and our shortcomings, and our darkness, you love us, and you love us well. Father, I pray that we would take that and love someone else well today. God, in this moment, we receive grace and mercy and forgiveness. We receive that, and in the name of Jesus, we tell the enemy that no matter what we've done in our differences, that we look forward to the victory we'll find in Jesus, not even when he comes back, but even today. Thank you for this group. I'm excited about just some great ideas we're talking about. I'm thankful for great minds around this table who have put in effort and passion and thought and questions and just all the neat things we might get to do that people will get to see, and most importantly, people will get to spend eternity with you because of it. How awesome we get to play a small part in that. I'm thankful for our families. I'm thankful for the way you've blessed us and for every thing that's going on within us that we refuse to talk about and that we would refuse to say in front of others. Whatever is happening at home, whatever happens in the dark, God, I pray that you would remind us in a still small voice that you are real and that you are bigger. Father, we receive every bit of your Spirit. We're thankful for the way you're active in our lives, even today in this moment. Look forward to the rest of the day. help us to be good stewards of it. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, 2 weeks, we'll be back. Not here, but.
Oh, man, I like this.
Yeah,
You just wanna.
Literally falling asleep.
Dude, so Ryan, like, we did it the other day.